Welcome back to the eSIMstudios YouTube channel. I have a very special case review. Interesting looking case. So I got this case in earlier this morning, went around town running some errands, and threw this on while I was running some errands just to get the look, the feel, what I like, what I don't like. This is for the OnePlus 15. It is a TPU plus premium PU, which is like fake leather. It has a stand on it. It has drop protection, camera protection. This is the only one. This is the only color combination that I could find. But it's red and black, looks good, right? It will be linked down below in the video description. You can grab it on Amazon for roughly $15. And as we jump into this, let me move this OnePlus 15 to the side. We're going to throw it on there in just a minute. And let's jump into this case. So it says on the back of here, anti-shock, comfortable, precise cutouts, and antibacterial. Very interesting. Ultra thin, ultra light, fashion design, full protection. And let's open it and see what we got. So pretty basic box here. Just the case. That's all I really need, right? That's all anybody needs. Just give me the case. I don't need all this extra stuff in there, but this is what they give you. Maybe the thinnest piece of plastic ever made for support in there, but we're going to move this to the side and take a look at this case. So interesting design, pretty nice color combo, right? And it does have a stand, and when we throw the phone in there, we'll see just how sturdy it is and if it can stand up vertically and horizontally as well. But as you see here, TPU border around the edges, top and bottom, left and right, and then that PU leather, the fake leather here on the back. I don't know if that is real stitching or not, or if it is just simply glued on and it's a fake stitching. I have no clue, but it looks like the real deal. I doubt it is real stitching, although I could take a knife to it. It actually does look like real stitching. Now, normally I'm not, because I'll probably end up giving this away. If you like the cases that you see here that we review, I suggest you subscribe to the channel. We just did a giveaway live stream yesterday where I gave away, I don't know, 5 or 6 cases that I review here on the channel. So if you do have a OnePlus 15, if you do have a S25 Ultra and or upcoming S26 Ultra, if you do have a Pixel 10 series, iPhone 17 Pro, subscribe to the channel. We do case giveaways, accessory giveaways, earbuds, Android TV boxes all the time, but you have to be subscribed. So is it glued on? Is it stitched? Actually, I think it is, because there's where these stitches tied. That's where they meet when they go all around the border here. It's double stitched right here. Let me see if you can see it here. Let's zoom in just a bit. Let's go even farther. See this right here? It's double stitched right there, so it does look like it's real stitching. Interesting. Well, maybe they did put some quality into this cheap case. A lot of these cases that you see that have design inside the case is, I guess, for multi-purpose. It's for looks, obviously, but a lot of times, taking it a step further, it's for heat dissipation. So putting a case on your phone is essentially like putting a jacket on your body. This is not a super crazy design. I have seen some pretty crazy designs that have some deep channels. These aren't that deep, but it doesn't take much, especially if you have a bunch of them like this. It doesn't take a whole lot of deep channels to help dissipate the heat. So that's something else, a purpose of the design from the inside. Now, it does have lanyard cutouts on the left hand side only, does not have them on the right. So if you do want to use this with a little ring, with a little wrist strap, you certainly can. Probably going to need a longer one if you typically use your phone with your right hand. But look at this. So this is one thing I liked. So when I was out and about today running errands, this is one thing I found that I liked, is the ribbed side. Now, it doesn't go up all the way like a Nilkin, but it goes up just where your palm is on the left side and on the right side up to the power button. You can see the ribbed side here and ribbed side right there in the light. Now look at this. As I mentioned, going up to the power button, you have a power button that is labeled with the power emblem. And then you have a volume down, a negative sign or minus sign. And then you have with the volume up, you have the plus sign on there. So nice that they're labeled. Would have been nicer if each one had an individual, who is it? Rinky does a ribbed power, does a flat and flush volume down, and then they have one dot on your volume up, which is nice because you know exactly what button you're pushing if you're not looking at your phone. This one you got to feel around a bit, but at least it's labeled. Some don't even do anything at all. So let's move it on to the left side where the action button is. Now that one is actually flush, but they are easy to push. As you can tell, they have cutouts. They have little slits right where the top and the bottom is. Same thing with the power, with the volume down and the volume up. That makes it easy. The reason why they cut slits in there is to make it movable, is to make it easier to make a selection to push when your phone is in there. You have nice and precise cutouts up top. And then this is interesting. You don't see this a lot, and depending on, I guess, personal preference, because I've heard some people say it blocks the sound. I've heard others say it doesn't. And I'm one of those that say it doesn't. But they have like little individual speaker cutouts. You see those little tiny holes there where the speaker is? Now, it might block maybe 2 to 3% of the audio coming out, but a large majority of your audio is going to be perfectly fine. Because look here, where the speaker is on the OnePlus 15, it's not a bunch of holes like it is here on the case. But again, I tested the audio and I can't tell the difference. I tested the audio speaker full blast with a song on, and then I took the case off and hit play on the song again. I can't tell the difference, so I don't think that'll be a concern. I don't believe it blocks the audio with the little super mini cutouts where all those holes are. But then you also have a decent sized cutout for your USB Type-C and your microphones at the bottom. So let's go ahead and slap this in. We'll check camera protection, screen protection, and we'll test this little hinge here on the back. But let's take a look at the camera protection because it does have decent camera protection. You can see the sensors sit pretty far in there, not drastically. There's not a huge distance between the ring of the camera protection and where the actual glass is. However, it is like a 2-layer protection because you do have this outside border right here. As you can tell right here, it sticks up a little higher than the cutout. And then the actual cutouts, which is the second layer. And then the third drop is where your sensors would be, right? So you do get decent protection. You can see right there just how far they sit inside there. Let's go check out the display. So it does come up slightly up and over the OnePlus 15 display. I'm using the stock screen protector, the film that came with the phone. Although I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think, I think in another week or two, I'm going to buy a bunch of screen protectors and we'll do a screen protector review where I'll probably purchase 5 or 6 of the best screen protectors. I think the best screen protectors on Amazon. We'll slap them on. We'll slap on a few cases and see just how close it comes to the border of the glass screen protector. But the screen protector is getting nicked up a little bit, so I'll probably take it off and go to glass here in a few weeks. But you can see it comes up just up and over. And now glass is going to be more thick. So when I put these cases, and maybe you have glass on yours. So if you're viewing this and you see it come just barely up and over this factory display, it might be flush. It might be even with your glass because remember, glass is thicker than this film is. So it's going to raise it up maybe 0.2 millimeters. So it might very well be flush. So depending on if you have glass or not, just take that into consideration. And it goes up and over the display 360 degrees around the device. And let's look at those cutouts to make sure they're nice and lined up here. It appears they are. Let's see if I can focus in here. It appears they are. As you can see, the speaker there. Now, let me pull my OnePlus cable here. The stock factory cable that came with the phone, it should plug in without any blockage or any issues. Yeah, it plugs in perfectly. As you can see, charging. It's a relatively close fit, but it still works. You're not going to have to use any extra strength to get it in there. Actually, you know what? It does push up. Hang on one second. Check this out. Watch this. This top part right here, this top part of the case is going to lift up when I plug it in. So if you have a super fat USB Type-C cable, it might not. In fact, you know what? Let me pull my super fat cable out and we'll test it. But check this out. Watch. You see that? Just comes up a little bit right here. Not bad. Again, doesn't block it, but let me go grab a super fat cable and we will test it out. All right, so here I have the biggest USB Type-C cable ever made. No, I'm joking, but this is pretty big. Let's test this one out and see what it looks like. May not work. We shall see. Well, still works. It pushes it up slightly. Not that bad, but interesting. Okay, so it passes that test. Now, here's one negative about this. It doesn't have MagSafe. So there is no hang on, let me grab a charger, a MagSafe. All right, we're back. Got my trusty MagSafe charger here, magnetic charger, and let's see. No, there's no magnet in there. So if you do get this, just beware. And again, you can add a magnetic ring in here or inside the case if you desperately want to use this with MagSafe, but it does not come in the package MagSafe ready. Now let's test the prop in here. It says classic design protection. Now let's look at the hinge, because here's something you got to worry about whenever you buy cases with a prop or a stand on it. How long is that stand going to last, right? Is it so cheaply made that after 2 months of using it, this snaps off, or it starts to lose its strength and it's just flimsy and goes back and forth without any force whatsoever, without you even touching it? That's stuff you got to consider. Now, I opened this earlier and it seems like a tight fit. I mean, it seems pretty sturdy. Like, let's look. That is an actual, that's actual metal. So that's a metal hinge right here. And as you can see, you got to really kind of use some force. Now it snaps down once you get to a certain level. Just like that. But let's test it out. So I don't think the hinge is going to be an issue. Now maybe after, if you have this case for 2 years, it'll probably get weak. But if you have this phone for a year and use this case for a whole year, I think you'll be fine. But probably start losing its strength after that. But it is what it's what, $15. So let's see here. So let's test it. Let's pop it out and let's prop it up. Uh-oh, that's not good. So it doesn't work. Okay, so if you extend it all the way, like all the way out, almost to 90 degrees, it's gonna fall over, right? Now, if you want to stand it upright, portrait mode, portrait length up and down, you're gonna have to angle it. The angle of attack has to be smaller to make it more of a triangle, so it can properly withstand where you're placing it. See, now is it sturdy? Probably not, but at least it'll stand up on its own, right? But it's only at a certain angle, as you can see there. Probably needs to be like at a 45-degree angle instead of 90 or maybe 60, but you get the point, right? You can play with it. I think it's not meant to be stood straight up. I think they put this on here to be horizontal landscape, right? So as you can see, it stands up perfectly when it's laid down on its side. And that's as far as it goes, and it stands like that. But what if, so actually sitting here in my chair looking at it, it's a pretty good angle if you just want to, if you're taking a lunch break at the office and you want to watch eSIMstudios case review, right? The viewing angle is pretty good, right? But what if you're sitting up in a higher elevated chair and you're kind of looking down at it? Or, excuse me, no, it would be a lower chair, a kid's. What if you're sitting in a kid's seat? I don't know why you'd be doing that, but you're kind of looking up to it or eye level with it. You're going to need this to be rotated a little more. So let's see if you can rotate it, if that works. Yeah. Okay. So it works up to right about there. So right about there, it'll sit down. Now, if you go any closer into the case, it'll fall down. See that? So I think it's a pretty sturdy. I just wish when you extend it all the way, it would sit by itself in portrait mode, meaning in up and down mode. Again, you will have to angle this in slightly to get it to stand up straight on its own, but you can do it. It is possible. You just got to play with it for a little bit. But overall, it's a nice case, a nice looking case, as you can tell. Nice color design. I don't know how well this would protect it if you dropped it, but I mean, I think it would survive some drops. I just don't know from how from how high, like what height, right? And on what ground are you dropping it on? Are you dropping it on gravel? Are you dropping it on hard concrete street, curb, a store floor, tile floor, stuff like that. I don't ever drop test stuff, so I'm paying for all this myself. So the last thing I want to do is go and break something, but it does look pretty nice. Now before we get out of here, here's one thing you want to note. It did come with what it looks like to be, it came as a brand new case. So maybe that came from the manufacturer. Can you see that there? It looks like it was already used, but it looks like, I think that's from the manufacturer. It looks like it has a scuff on there. So just beware. And look, Amazon makes it easy to return. It looks like there's another little scuff there. Can y'all see that? Amazon makes it easy to return. So if you do get one like this and you see something like that, just simply return it. You can return it for the same product. They'll just send you another one. You can take pictures and say, hey, it looks like it's been used. I ordered a brand new one. What's going on? I need a new case. They'll send you a new one. So this will be linked down below in the video description. Please subscribe to the eSIMstudios YouTube channel for all the very best case reviews for all the latest flagship devices. And don't forget our giveaways. We give this away. We give earbuds away. We give Android TV boxes away. Trying to give back to you, the viewers. So appreciate your time, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.